Hey guys, I'm back again for the next part of this video. I couldn't quite get all of the leaves and everything in. Here's the finished stitching on the eye. I'll try not to have it too close, it tends to make it go funky. There we go. See, it's just 3 little straight stitches and a French knot, and I just did a little bit of extra stitching on the beak as well. So yeah, I really like. He sort of looks alive when you get the eye done. Now at this point, if you wanted to, rather than using these bits and pieces, you could do stitching with this or with some of this or whatever it is that you want to do in that, but it does look beautiful with that. Now I'm going to get my inspiration, which I've got here, and that's definitely what I want to use. Now that goes pretty well with it. I think I did have another darker one. I'll grab out some of these. There we go. Okay, because it is Australian bush stuff, so yeah, it's going to have like a light, that part there is going to be in the yellows, and I definitely think that is the way to go. I really quite like that. If you had different colour gums, you could go that, and then maybe, I don't know, they may work together. Okay, just keep that over there for inspiration, keeping that in the middle so I know where the middle is, because I often veer off, which is not good. So you get your wool, and you can use any wool. You can, go and raid your mum's or grandma's stash, but these are my little pack that I've got. I love these, they're so cute. I mean, I don't knit, but I do this. So I'm going to do a fairly large bit. So what we're going to do with that, I'll just show you how I do one leaf. That one's not too big. That's why I needed to reinforce it. So you put this part, you do need a hoop. If you want to do it without a hoop, that's okay, it's up to you, but I find, especially with wool, here's my little thing, you really do need to use that. And the reason why I use wool with this is because it's a bit thicker, and it just looks so beautiful. I mean, look how beautiful it looks in with that. Managed to finish the eye, which is good, yay. Yeah, but it looks so nice, and it's because this is textile art. I really wanted, I'm going to have a combination of wool and some of the threads. So okay, so what we want to do is sort of want to go on a bit of an angle, and I don't know if you can see in the picture here, it's got a couple of little, they've always got little, rusty brown spots in there and broken bits. So I'll probably come back over there with a bit of brown or whatever, and do a French knot. Oh, this is getting a bit light. So we're going to come up in the middle there, and then we're just going to go in like that, just sort of go on a bit of an angle. And this thread, and it's really, see, this is the Satin Stitch, the same as what you use on the eye. Okay. You do tend to go all over the place when you try and do this. but that's just how it goes. But it does fill up pretty quick, which is nice. Because it is wool. So you can get this type of wool and threads and all that from your local embroidery shop or even the quilting shops, or if you live in Australia, Spotlight has got wool threads. So, but you can just use wool. I mean, this wool was intended, I think, for you know, knitting purposes. So, but just make sure you just don't get it thick, too thick. I don't know how big this is because I'm not into knitting. The reason why you do it on an angle, that's sort of a more of a natural way that leaves go. So love that sound. And this is another reason why I've got the backing on it, because you don't want it to be too thin. It can tend to pucker and you need a bit of thickness, and the calico that you've got in the kits has got a bit of thickness. If you want to have a little bit of this sort of stuff, you can use maybe some of your sprays or a little bit of watercolour. That might be nice. Once you finish, do a little bit of watercolour underneath to give yours a little bit of coloration. That same technique that I used, go and have a look on my fox tutorial in part 2 if you want to do a little bit of watercolour. It does add a bit of texture. So just maybe on the bottom and around the leaves, I think that would probably be nice. So, oh, so pretty. I just love this. So getting a variegated thread is not a bad thing. It's so pretty. Okay, well, you get the drift. I might give it a pause and finish off, and when you come to the other end you do the same thing, except for you go on the opposite angle like that. So I'll pause it. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that, it's so pretty. Just goes beautifully with it, and it comes out in this greeny colour. So I'll pause it and then I'll come back when we're going to do this stitch here. I wanted to do some of the bottle brush, so I may need to do this second. You've got to do the leaves before you do the bottle brush, because you're going to do the bottle brush, which is this one, over the top of the leaves, and so you will be doing that in probably in some thread or multicolored thread, which this is the case, I think. So yeah, I won't worry about doing that one, but I probably will do the bottom half of this just so that I can, and here. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, back again. I only sort of went to there because on the pattern I really do need to you know, like have it here. So I stopped there, and I was going to use a DMC, but I think using this wool is going to be better. So I'm going to just come in here and okay, gives it a bit of it's a bit thicker. Definitely needs that, as you can see in the picture, definitely needs that gap, and I may even fill in some of that and go, oh, I'm going to highlight it with the DMC, which is what I've done in some of the others, because the wool is just such a good thickness. Okay, I could probably sit down for this, but I thought I'd stand up and show you what I'd done. Now, I will go back there, but I'll come in here first. So that I can have that here. Now, in the picture here, it has got a bit of a line of where the stem is, but because it's got the leaf there, I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to, because you've got the, I'm just going to guess, because you've got those little bits that are sticking out there, which I'll come in with a different colour green and threads and all that kind of stuff. So, okay. Coming through there. And with these two back leaves, I am going to go in that colour. Got a bit of yellow in there because they're usually always darker, and I just think a contrast would be nice. And I picked that one because often gum leaves are quite bluey grey, but it's got a bit of that yellow in there as well, so I wanted to stick with that colour. To come across here. Is it sticking over the top? Yep. Got to be careful, sometimes these things can stick. Okay, and then go there. Okay. Now while I'm here with the thread, yellow, these are sort of like a yellowy greeny colour, so I'm going to do the stems of these. So I might do that one here while I'm there, and then do a bit of a stem stitch. This little guy. Okay. Oh. Just to make it a little bit different. And it is a stem after all, so I'm going to do stem stitch. Oop. And then get to here, hopefully I've got it in camera, I hope I have. It would be really annoying if I wasn't. I'm just going to do a satin stitch, and then I'm going to outline it with a different thread. I might do a little extra one here because we want to give it a bit of a rounded look. So that's just a satin stitch again. And then with the actual little spriggy parts, I'm probably going to do that in the pearl cotton because they're a little bit more finer, and then they require little French knots at the end of them and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to follow the pattern. How's it looking? Good. Oh, good grief. You can hear the aircon in the background. Can't believe I've got it on it, but it gets rather warm in here. Okay, yeah, let it dangle a little bit. Okay, now and then I'm probably going to go around the outside of that just to give it a bit more of a definition. Maybe a lighty brown colour on the sides. So there we go. Okay, so we're going to go back through there. Go, because we'll be starting on the other one. Ugh. Pull it. Sometimes you just got to pull the tightness of it. Okay, that's what you've got there. So, and then we'll give it a bit more definition. So what I want to do is I might just pull that out through here just to get it out of the way, because I'm going to continue with that later. Things change with tutorials, because I've got to show you. Now, this particular one here, I'm going to use, I might use some of this thread. Does that work with that? I don't know if it does. Maybe this one. I might have a couple of bigger ones, just a few, just to give me a bit of a highlighting starting point of where I need to be. Love this colour because it matches that beautifully, and that's why I picked these wattles. So got that rosy paperback. Okay, now I'm just going to go about there. And we'll almost use this as a bit of a spot of where we're going to do it. Quite roughly there and everywhere. Excuse me. I'm hoping I'm in camera. Okay, that's where I am. Okay, coming out here. This is just to give me a bit of a guideline of where I need to go, and then I'm going to fill it in quite a bit with the other one. Okay, now maybe one more small one. Okay, now I'm going to go here, so you can see why I need to have the leaves stitched. I'm going to go over it. Okay. fight against your initial thing to follow, you know, how the leaf is going, because you need to you know, sort of come out. Remember, that's the line. So I'll do another. That's a leaf there. Okay, come back. Might as well use up all that I've got. Okay. A bit tough sometimes. Okay. So I'm just going to fill in some of these holes. When we come back over with the thread, we don't want it to be patchy, too patchy. Okay. Okay. Make these ones a little shorter, I think. Those ones there. Every now and again I've got to keep pulling on the thing. Okay. There we go. We've got just enough to do that last one. Oh. Just in here. Okay. Oh, good grief. Something didn't work out there. Well, what we're going to do, so obviously when I first put it in, it didn't knot properly, so what I'll do is notch it up here, because here's the knot on the bottom here. So that's all good. I have to always keep on constantly checking to see whether it's not gathered up on the bottom, because it can do that. Okay, now this process here is going to be exactly the same as what you do on the other side as well. Okay, so we need to get thread. So I'll get this one, and I want to use this one because it's variegated, and so it has light, dark and all that kind of stuff, which is what I want, because it's got all the different little parts. Okay. It's going to be so pretty. Okay. Fairly long piece, which is not always good, because it does knot, as you know. Now we're going to come back again and just fill in the gaps and go every which way. Try and make it look spiky. want to see too much of the green, but we still can see some of it, and we go different ways. At the moment it's the same colour, but once it variegates into a different colour, it'll give us a bit more variety of what's happening. It's not hard, but like with this part here, it isn't hard, it's just time consuming. Yep. It's just all about different straight stitches, filling in the gaps. Going over the top of the wool because I want it to hold down. It's now starting to lighten up a bit, so, which isn't a bad thing, except when it's not. Okay, so what I might do is start going on the top, because with the lighter colour that could be seen as the shadow, as in the, you know, the highlight. Yep. And pretty much there's not a whole heap of technique to be done in this. It's just a lot of straight stitches, back stitch, stem stitch, and that's pretty much it, and a few French knots and plain knots. So yeah, it's just filling in, and often it's just about the colour, so it isn't hard. Colouring in, it's great. Oop. What I'll do, see a little straggly bit often at the end, or what I'll do, see, there you go, you got the wool bit, then you got those bits, and so I might just come and fill it in, and then I'm going to do a couple of, I'll come back when it comes to do some French knots, which we will do on here and here, and then this part here I am going to come out maybe with a different colour green, and maybe join it to here or something, but I might keep that as the stem of it, the yellow. So yeah, I quite like that, but I really do want it to stand out, so I'm gonna, once you get a bit of the brown and all that kind of stuff, I might even stitch the brown along there, because you sort of can see it, but I know it's got to have a little bit of a stem. Okay, well, I'll be back. Hang 10. Okay, what I did, I thought it did need something in the middle, so when it got lighter, I got to there and I did a stem stitch and went all the way to there, and then once I got there I did French knots, like 2 French knots. What I do need to do now, I'm just gonna, this is the leaves. I've got just a green thread, which I'm going to probably do a stem stitch along here, because we want the leaves to stand out. So it'll have a stem stitch all the way till there, and then with the leaves I might do either a lazy daisy stitch maybe 2 of them to fill it in. Hopefully you guys can see this. Really trying to make the effort of showing you how to do stuff on camera. Okay, now there's a spot in here that has a leaf, and I don't know whether I'm going to stem stitch it or lazy daisy it. I might lazy daisy. You go like that, go to the top. Oop, where are we? Come out there, and sometimes you can probably double lazy daisy. Oop. Stitch that down, and then I might even come back through the middle. Did this technique on the other flowers and then just fill in that gap just a little bit more. So it's a lazy daisy stitch with a stitch in the middle. So I'll show you again. Okay, come up through the top, go over. This is what you use to make daisy petals, but it's just really good to do leaves this way too. Oh my goodness, now I'm going too high. So just go like that and bring that down, and then I'm going to come in through here and go back down here, just so it fills in that spot a little bit. So I'll do 2 more there, which I'll come back for. I've got bits of threads hanging out everywhere. Now I've got this thread, which is sort of like, it goes really well with the pinks anyway, sort of like a pinky brown, which is what I want. Excuse me, my hair in the way. Now what I'm going to do with this, because on these, see, it's got these little browny things, so I'm going to do on here like what I've done on there, just go in and through and do random, I can do 2, just do random French knots around it. You know, go back up at the top here. Some of them don't even have to connect with it, just a French knot really close. I do 2. I've got to come back in there and do a few more of the pinks as well. So the effect is in just the little extra details that you do. I might do another one just on that leaf there. Like I said, not hard, just time consuming. So there we go. I'm going to come back in round about there. I've got to come back in and do a couple of more pink ones as well on the other side. Okay, there we go. So it's really starting to get a bit more detail and start to actually look a little bit more like that. I might even do some of this brown. Actually, I might even do that centre bit. Come back a minute. There we go. That's the way you get things done. I'll just do this last bit and do that centre bit in the brown, just so that the leaves stand out a tad more than what they are. They're not very standing out at the moment. That looks a bit better. There we go. I mean, it looks a bit more better than here than what it does near you. Okay, so there you go. That's what you do with those. I may come back. I might use this brownie colour to go around here, and then I'm going to do just, you know, straight little things like I've done there, and then do the brown with a bit of a darker brown on those ones, because they tend to have a bit of a dark brown on the edges. Yep. So so it's pretty much the same sort of thing, but it definitely would pay with this brown to sort of do like a backing stitch at least around one side. I'll come back and show you in the next one anyway, because it's already been 35 minutes. Okay guys, it's going to look gorgeous. It's so pretty. So just fairly straight stitches. Finish this off, maybe do a darker colour. I'm going to do this one there, and on this one it's only got 2 leaves here. They're a bit bigger, so the lighter one on the bottom and the darker one here, and I'm going to just do that little darker one there, and then finish these off. I really like how that looks. It's one of those things that will look a little bit better once you do highlights, and you do highlights with the thinner thread. Okay guys, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing it. So yeah, it looks really pretty. And the next part, hopefully I'd be finished these. This is probably going to be stem stitched with a thicker wool. We'll pick that later, and then I'll come to the part where we're actually putting these bits on, which I've already showed you, but it might be a little bit different. Okay, thanks guys, and I'll catch you later. Bye.